Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Taurus January 2023 Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance. So, hi, everyone, and welcome. This reading is going to be taking a look at something you're going to be unlocking in the month of January about yourself. So we're going to be looking first at your internal energy, what's going on around you, and then we're going to be looking at a challenge that you're going to be asked to face to help you unlock this aspect of your personal experience so that you can better see your path and understand your purpose. So beautiful energy right off the bat, Taurus. We've got the Queen of Pentacles as your energy, what you're bringing in, which, harnesses the very earthy energy that you have. And then we have the King of Wands in the external environment, which is beautiful. There's King of Wands is kind of the business owner, the CEO energy, someone who really is in a position of authority, who takes action or takes empowered action from a place of passion. Now, the Queen of Pentacles is someone who is ready to dedicate herself and take the time to nurture something of great importance in the physical into existence or into a level of growth. So this is kind of, that kind of feeling of the mother archetype energy of I'm going to invest in this seed or this child or this business, and I'm ready to just really kind of almost single-mindedly, but with patience, do what needs to be done to nurture this into what we're hoping will eventually bloom into something specific. Now, what you're unlocking about yourself, which is very interesting this month, Taurus, is a change in perspective, the Hanged Man. I love this card because it really speaks to allowing spirit to come in and show us something in our experience that we were either blocked from seeing or unable to see. Now, with the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Swords coming in underneath, I think for many of you it's almost like a kind of going out there with this childlike curiosity, but a little bit of a start-stop energy. The Page of Pentacles is one who's going to go out there with this seed, who's ready to see, okay, like, where can I plant this? What am I going to do with this? And it is kind of a fact-finding or gaining more education or just trying to see, again, by working in the physical through direct experience, what you can do with something tangible. Now, the Page of Swords is an energy that's also kind of a fact-finding energy. It's one that can actually be considered kind of spying, that you're watching somebody or you're trying to kind of gain more information, but from a mental space. And with these two, even the way they're positioned here on the table, it's almost like they're looking at each other, kind of almost like in, direct opposition. One's looking at the pentacle while the other one is kind of looking at this individual almost from an outside perspective. And so I think for many of you, you've been kind of maybe perhaps sitting with, what do I do with this? Now that I've gone out with whatever this is, this could be, when we think of pentacles, this could be like you've moved to a new location, or you got a new job, or you suddenly have a new relationship, or you got a little bit of maybe savings set aside and you're not quite sure what to do with this. And so you've gone out there and you've, explored the new area you've moved to, or you've kind of gotten your feet wet in the new position you're in, or you've, been looking at how you can invest this money that you have. And with the Page of Swords, there's this feeling of trying to find, the truth in what this is. What do I really do with this, and how does it align with my truth? And what am I doing here? It's almost like kind of taking a step back and really like assessing. And the Hanged Man, I believe, is going to come in and say, okay, we will see the truth of something, because then you bring in this energy. You move from the Page of Pentacles, which is kind of like, okay, I'm not quite sure what to do with this. I don't really know if I want to invest in it. I don't know where to invest in it. I don't know if I need additional information. And suddenly you come in with this energy. I'm ready to dedicate myself. I see what I need to focus on, and I'm ready to put the time and the energy and the investment into making it happen. And that will come once this kind of forced perspective change comes in, which is interesting because actually Cancer got a very similar message coming through. So some of you may have a Cancer in your life, and this is a shared message, or for many of you, you may actually have a strong Cancer placement in your chart. So it's something to look into. With the King of Wands, this is, again, your external energy. Now, you may be surrounded by people who harness this energy. There may be one specific prominent individual in your life who is bringing this energy. This could be possibly a boss. This could be the owner of a company you work for. This could be just an individual who's maybe a mentor, or this could actually be the energy that you are going to be stepping into as you really start to focus. So we're going to pull some additional cards here to get deeper into the message. And we're going to look at now, what are the blocks? What is the challenge that Spirit is asking you to face and overcome to really be able to see this change in perspective? And then advice from Spirit as to really what you need to embrace to be able to get the most out of this month. Okay, so we have the Moon. We have Ace of Cups, beautiful. We have Temperance. We have Ten of Swords. And then let's pull one final card here, and then we'll get deeper into the message. Oh, we got two that came out. So we have Death, and we have the Sun. Beautiful. Okay, so yeah, this is a month where many of you, this is a month of transformation. Now, it might not be easy, because with the Moon is your primary challenge and block. Death is kind of the book ending this. This is like you're going to go through this process, and then you're going to go move into this energy. And it doesn't mean that you are going to die. Death card is a card truly of release and transformation. And starting off with the Moon can be a block when we don't have faith in ourselves or what we want, where we want to put our time, energy, and effort into. Because the Moon is a card that speaks to a lack of clarity. The way is unclear. We are being called up out of a comfort zone to walk a path on faith in kind of the shadowy darkness of night. And that can be intimidating when we don't understand clearly where we are being called to journey to, or we are not able to see the landscape around us clearly. But the beauty of the Moon, especially because in the tarot, it harnesses the energy of Pisces, but it also, the Moon, Cancer as a sign is ruled by the Moon. So again, there's this Cancer energy coming in, this deep, watery energy asking you to trust your intuition and asking you to really hear the call. There is something here with the Moon for me as a reader that I personally, when this comes up, especially in this position, this is really when, unlike judgment, where something external to us generally, we can hear the call internally, but something external generally changes to all of a sudden we wake up one day and we're like, our life has changed and it's time to become a new person. The Moon is more, we feel the pull towards something, towards a direction, towards the new. And often it is the pull to leave a comfort zone. Just like this lobster is being called up to leave his home in the sea, he is being asked to journey now to the mountaintop on dry land. And that he's just feeling that call. It's kind of like the tides of the Moon being pulled or, released. And so there's this feeling here for many of you that you're feeling the call. You're feeling on an intuitive level where you need to go with this pentacle, where you need to invest your time, what you want to have this pentacle grow into. And if you can get over the challenge of the lack of clarity, that there's always that kind of we have to release our attachment to results, because when we feel that call, we don't always know truly where we are going to be called to kind of end that journey. But the one thing we do know is that we have to listen to that call, because that call is leading us in the right direction. It's leading us on the journey of what we need to focus on. And even though that may result ultimately in a slightly different result than what we were expecting, if we heed that call, we get the chance to really transform our experience. Now, on the opposite side of this, we have the Ace of Cups. And for many of you, this is going to represent a deep, it's almost like getting back in touch with the love that you have for yourself, the love that you have for others. It's re-engaging with life on an emotional level, but in a way that can truly kind of be the fresh start for an emotionally fulfilling journey. And the moon is blocking this. If you can get kind of past this, the way isn't truly clear. I don't have the full plan laid out before me. If you can just trust in your own abilities to nurture something into existence, and also know that with dedicated focus as to what you want to nurture, you're going to step into this beautiful place where there's opportunity for new connection, new, deeper emotional connection to your life, generally just to your life experience. But there's also a chance for possibly new love. So for many of you, this could be, if you're single, this could be the opportunity to engage on a deep emotional way with another. This could be a kind of assessment of a current relationship you're in and getting a chance to dive deeper. This could also be where you're investing yourself. You're realizing it's time to invest maybe in the family, in the home, in the new partner. But then we have temperance coming in, and temperance is at the heart of your reading, and this is what Spirit is asking you to embrace and embody as you move through the month of January, so that you can really bring in this change of perspective that's going to bring in a great transformation, and a transformation that's going to allow you to either become the King of Wands, really harness that powerful CEO type energy, or it's going to bring in a King of Wands towards you that's going to help unlock this transformation and be a part of this next cycle. So the Temperance card is one of just that. Mediation, moderation. It's one of balance. So you're being asked right now to balance your passions with your emotions and bring everything to a place where there are not a lot of extremes, not where you're maybe one day going to go out and do something with this pentacle, and then the next day kind of undermine yourself by wondering and overthinking it. This is more about dedicated, step by step, walking in the moonlight, walking this path on faith, just keep moving forward. And I love that Temperance for me is also kind of a divine timing card. There's an angelic quality to the card that comes in. It harnesses the number 14, and in numerology for me, the number 14 reduces to the number 5, which is the number of change. And for me, this card harnesses the number of freedom through change, and it always comes in at the right time. Again, the divine timing. So if you can really bring yourself into moderation, balance your passion, kind of what you love to do, what you love in life, and you balance that with your emotions, the why. Why am I doing this? How does it make me feel? Then you're able to move past a deep pain, a great wounding, to move into final transformation. The Ten of Swords is a card where we were brought to our lowest point. And I think it's interesting how the card here, Temperance, actually looks like she's looking at this individual, and almost saying, pouring kind of the refreshing waters on there to say, it's time to release. It's time to, you went through this period where you felt like you had 10 swords in your back. It was difficult. It was painful. But the beauty of this is that it's the end of a cycle. And you can see here in this depiction, even though it's kind of a little bit violent, you can see that the individual has been pierced, and the ray of light from the sun is coming through, and he is able to see a new truth for himself. Something has been illuminated from going through that dark period in his or her life. And so now that this is asking you basically to face what this period was, find the gem, find that Ace of Swords, find that truth, that clarity, the sunlight coming through, that darkness, that was the lesson, that was the beauty in what you had to go through, because that's going to carry you through death and then ultimately into the sunlight. So there's a part of yourself that's directly attached to the Ten of Swords that it's time to release. The Ten of Swords can be any number of times, and it doesn't have to be that this has happened recently. This could actually be something that happened maybe even in your childhood. Maybe something dramatic happened where you lost a parent, or there was a, traumatic maybe divorce and your whole life was upended. Something happened like that. And you've kind of carried that forward into your adult life. Or this could be something like, a major divorce in your adult life, or losing a job that you were, very connected to. But whatever it is, or even going through a health issue, there's definitely that feeling here where a lot of times we go through a period where we just literally are brought to our knees in the physical sense. But you have gotten past that. With the Ten of Swords coming in, this is saying it's over, it's done, it happened. You were brought to that lowest point and you have now risen from that. And now it's time to truly let that part of your experience go. Let the person who was associated with that transform. The sunlight is beautiful. The sunlight comes in when we have been moving through the darkness in faith. And we've been waiting for the light of day to come in and show us, why have I been called? Why have I been taking these steps? Why have I been unable to kind of turn away or go back to the safety and security of my original home? And it's because you had to, if you think about it, this lobster, if he was called up out of the ocean and he's, walking dedicatedly maybe to the top of this mountain, along the way, he might shed an aspect of himself. He might actually, he might get dried out. He might wish he needs to go back and be refreshed by the water, but instead he, again, on faith, continues to go. And he might have to painfully shed an actual layer of himself. But as he's doing so, what he may be becoming is something totally different. He may be becoming a creature that is now adapted to live on the mountaintop. And he had to go through all of this to be able to now be the person who can embody this energy. For many of you, this might be where you had to really go through a lot to bring you to a place of really understanding your confidence in yourself and what your ability is, even when the way is unclear. Because now the sun's going to come out. It's going to say that old version of yourself, the version of you as the lobster coming out of the water, that version is no more. You have now been truly transformed on every level, including the physical. And it's time to release that. It's time to allow the daylight to really show you in all of its kind of shining glory, the best and brightest and innocent part of yourself again. And allow that part to truly be seen, but also at the same time to allow the part of yourself that you need to release to be seen as well. This would almost be like the lobster looking back, and in the light of day, he didn't realize how much, maybe he shed multiple skins, and he looks behind him and he sees from the top of the mountain all the different layers of himself. And it's shocking. And it's a realization of how much he's grown, how much he's changed. And for many of you, I think that's what's going to happen this month. There's going to be this kind of liberating moment where you have that change in perspective, where you realize, I am not that person anymore. I am not the person that got, that was dumped by a significant other, or I'm not the child who was at the mercy of what happened with my parents, or I'm not the person who was at the mercy of the manager I worked for, or the business owner I worked for. I'm now the person who is going to own my own business, or maybe I am the manager, or maybe I am the person who is now in a new relationship and I am successful in that. And there's something there where it's time to really own that and see that, because that change in perspective is going to allow you to step up into a very empowered version of yourself. So I'm going to pull some clarifier cards here. So we're going to get a little deeper into some of the messages here. So we're first going to see, let's get a little bit deeper into the moon. What does Taurus need to know about the moon as their main block? 6 of Cups. Yeah, there's something about making peace with the past, but also reconnecting to, I think, an inner dream of yours, a dream from the past. Yeah, and the 3 of Coins. There's something you want to build. And there's something that others recognize you for. The Three of Coins is generally one where you are bringing your coin into alignment with and into kind of a cooperative building element with the two coins from someone else. And so there's this feeling almost here of collaborating with a couple other people, or somebody else recognizing your talents and saying, I want you to come and join our team. We're looking to build this. But there's something here very clearly that perhaps this could come from somebody from your past, that there might be a connection with somebody from the past that's coming in, and maybe a collaboration is here. And that could be the call to something different. That could be the kind of intuitive, maybe it could be that the person reaches out to you and says, hey, do you want to try doing this again? Or I remember that you were so great at doing this, 15 years ago. Would you like to join us in this new venture, this new opportunity? But again, the way is unclear. You don't know ultimately if this is going to become something. Also, it could be bringing somebody in from your past where you're not quite sure. Maybe there's a reason why you didn't collaborate back in the past, or the reason why you walked away from somebody. So there's something here around that, but this could also be being called back to a past dream and wanting to build it now with someone new. So for many of you, this could actually be being called to a past dream, and you're kind of questioning, can I do it now? Has it been too long? So for the Ace of Cups, you have the Two of Coins. Yeah, I think for many of you, you're kind of blocking yourself from really, I think, stepping into this place of love because you're keeping yourself busy. The Two of Coins are the day-to-day tasks. It's kind of the juggling that we go through, but it's also trying to figure out, with making a choice as to where do we prioritize our time. And with the Four of Coins, this is a card of where we are holding ourselves back. This can kind of be a miserly energy of, I have just enough, and I don't want to give anymore because it might destabilize me, or because I kind of am stuck in a poverty mindset of, this is all I'm ever going to have. This is all I'm ever worth. So if I have to give of that, I'm going to actually, reduce my bounty instead of thinking of it in the reverse, so that if I invest, what can't I make? So there's something here around with the 4 and the 2, there's a decision to be made as to where it's time to invest or not invest. And with the Ace of Cups coming in, I think for many of you, it's about getting back in touch with what emotionally fills your cup. What this cup is, what connects you emotionally to your life experience. These are your needs, your hopes, your wants, your dreams. And we can't kind of just go through our life doing the day-to-day and holding on to what we have without putting ourselves out there in some capacity that directly emotionally ties us to our experience. So this could be like where you're just working, and yet you would love to travel, or you'd love to be in a relationship with somebody, but you're not willing to put down the money for that vacation, or you're not willing to sign up for that dating app and put in the dedicated work, because pentacles just reflect what is in our physical. It doesn't mean necessarily money. It can be our time, our energy, any type of physical resource that we have. And there's something here around kind of not wanting to give, and to kind of, and just using the day-to-day as your excuse as to like, well, I don't have the time to do that. Or, well, if I actually do, invest in this, it might mean that I am going to lose out. Is it really worth it for me to put that money down on a vacation when, the vacation will be over in 2 weeks, and I come back and I'm out, $2,000 or whatever it is. And this is saying, but if that's what emotionally connects you and that's what's preventing you from feeling connected, it's time to realize that. It's time to realize that it's time to start investing in what you love. But also in realizing that there's something perhaps from the past that you really want to build with others, and you're feeling called to do that, but yet you're blocking yourself from really leaning into that because you're being miserly with some aspect of your physical experience. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what's going on with Temperance. So we have 2 cards, the Devil and the 8 of Swords. Yeah, you're really blocked here. The Devil is a card where we hold ourselves back. It's not where the devil is the one holding these two people back. It's where the people have chained themselves and are unable to see that there is a way out. With the Eight of Swords coming in, this is the card of being mentally stuck. This is the card of I don't see a way out. I'm blindfolded. I feel like there's a bunch of, swords at my throat, and I don't see. But the interesting thing with the Eight of Swords is that this is truly, the swords reflect our mental aspect of our experience. So this is just going on in her mind. There's nothing physical about her being physically trapped in this image, or him, or however they identify. This is literally the individual who is just kind of going around and around in their mind saying, I can't, there's no way out. But what about this? But what about that? But it's all getting lost in the what ifs and in the again, negative mental entrapment. And that's what's been holding you back. That you don't see that there's a way to just simply release yourself. And that way is through moderation. That way is through the balancing of your actions and your emotions. And it's also through realizing the freedom through change, that it's time for these individuals who have chained themselves here to release themselves. And it can simply be bringing something in your life into equilibrium. It may be that you guys are doing too much in one aspect of your experience and not allowing yourself to have the time and the energy to really nurture something fully into existence. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Ten of Swords. And I really think the crux here, the Temperance card is tied directly to what you're unlocking about yourself, the change in perspective. And I think for many of you, the change in perspective is just to realize you're not trapped. You have changed yourself to something, whether it's, again, just a thought that, hey, I'm not capable of owning my own, it's like all kinds of things. I'm not capable of owning my own business. I'm not capable of being in that relationship. I will never be able to travel because I'll never have enough money. It's something along those lines where it's tied directly to your physical, because that's really what's coming up here with there's a lot of pentacles coming up on the board here. So there's something here around wanting to build something, wanting to experience something from your past, or build something with somebody from the past, or something you've wanted that you tried in the past to build, but yet you've told yourself you're unable to do that because of something that's happened. And it's time to realize you've been holding yourself hostage, and there's no one actually holding you hostage except yourself. This is where it's time to kind of change that, change your mindset. Really change your mindset. It's a lot of pentacles and a lot of swords coming in this reading. So we have the Two of Swords that came out for the Ten of Swords. And so I think for many of you, you're trying to make a decision. Yeah, with the Five of Cups. You're trying to make a decision, but you can't. You're trying to make a decision as to kind of which way to go or where to invest because of what happened in the past. And there's this feeling of, like, with the Five of Cups coming in, disappointment on an emotional level, something that didn't work out. And so you're sitting in this place of, well, I don't want to go through that again. The last time I tried this, it didn't work out. The last time I tried to, connect with somebody on an intimate romantic level, it didn't work out. So do I or do I not try again? The last time I tried to build my own business, it didn't work out. So do I or do I not try again? The last time I was in a place of work, it ran me ragged to the bone. And so do I or do I not go back into that work environment? But this is really saying, hear the call, feel the call towards something, and know that you're a different, much stronger version of yourself, and that if you do try again in whatever area you felt was most impacted here, it's going to reap the most benefits, and it's going to, again, bring you into this heightened, empowered state, or draw in an individual who's really going to help you level up. So keep that in mind. Okay, so let's take a look at Death and the Sun. So first we'll take a look at Death, and then I'll pull for the Sun, since they're two very distinct energies. Death, we have Three of Cups, Three of Wands, and Four of Wands. Interesting here. Okay, so for Death, the Three of Cups is directly linked to the Three of Cups and the Five of Cups here, because you see the individual who's kind of mourning the Three Cups that have spilled with the Two Cups that are still out upright. Now he has his back to the 2 cups that are upright, and he's focused on what has spilled. And that's the part of you that needs to be released. Whatever was the disappointment on an emotional level, whatever didn't work, that's time to be released. The 3 of Wands is the card of kind of waiting for our ships to come in. It's where we've been trying to work and pull something towards us. And with the 4 of Wands, the 4 of Wands is that stable platform. It's something that we can work towards, take action towards, and it can be celebrated by others. So this could be, a lot of times this can reflect a marriage, because it's building that solid foundation for a healthy partnership. Again, being celebrated by others. This can be where you're trying to pull in that stable foundation for a business, where you're trying to pull in a stable foundation for a sense of community, friendship, a tribe, so to speak. And I think whatever this is, whatever the 3 of Cups is directly attached to, it's time to release that. It's time to release that disappointment. Yes, whatever that was in the past didn't work out. And whatever was tied to that. So whether this was, again, a marriage tied to that, you were maybe you were so focused for so long on bringing in this marriage. It's something that you wanted, and then it didn't work out. And so now you're faced with a choice of, do I do it again? Do I try again? Or this could be faced with maybe a business. Maybe you were trying to pull in this beautiful foundation for a new business, and you tried and it didn't work out. And maybe you and your business partner fought, or that something happened along the way and it was disappointing. But this is saying it's time to release that. It's time to release. Now, for some of you, this could speak to releasing a marriage. This could speak to, now again, it could be just the ghost of a past relationship, the past marriage. But this could also be a current one if you're in a relationship where you have not felt like you've been able to really fully invest, meaning that you felt kind of held back, you felt like you've maybe tried, and it just hasn't worked. And so there's this opportunity here to either release it or release possibly what has been kind of going wrong, meaning feeling trapped, maybe feeling isolated from the other individual. Maybe you guys have gone through a rough period at some point, maybe even a traumatic period with the 10 of Swords coming in. And now it's like one or both of you is holding yourself back with the 4 of Coins and the 2 of Pentacles. You're holding yourself back from really committing to kind of reinvigorating the relationship. So this is either releasing that part and dedicating yourself to trying again, or this is just saying it's time to release, it's time to walk away. And that's what's going to really, when you release whatever has not been emotionally satisfying to you, that's where the decision is going to come in to realize that doesn't work for me anymore. It didn't work, and it's time for me to release my tie to that. And then the sun's going to come in and really clarify this new perspective. And what is that clarifying for you? 10 of Coins, Ace of Cups, there's the Ace of Cups again, and the 10 of Wands. So this is clarifying the legacy, what you can actually build for yourself, what you're capable of creating in the physical, with a new reconnection to love, to your emotional cup again. This is almost like realizing, I don't want that. I want this. And I've been blocking myself because I told myself I wasn't capable, or I didn't want to go down that road again. And this is saying it's coming back in. You have a fresh chance to really build something out of it. But it's also going to show you where it's time to put down a heavy burden that you have been carrying for a long time, the 10 of Wands. It's time to release that. This is the end of a cycle, and it's saying it's time to put down the burden you've been carrying for some time. And this is really going to release that for you. For some of you, this may actually be the release, because the 10 of Coins can also mean the end of a cycle. So this may mean having to walk away from an established something. This could be actually where you've been kind of maybe going back and forth between leaving maybe a place of work or leaving a business you've started because it just hasn't been working out. And it's time now to realize, okay, it went as far as it did, or went as far as it could. And this could be also, your home life or your relationship with a significant other. And it's time to just say, okay, Went as far as it could. I'm going to bless it with the Ace of Cups, my love, and I'm going to put down this burden, and it's time for me to really step up into this empowered energy and start again with the King of Cups here. This is Leo energy. It's being seen. It's living from that kind of heart-centered space of really going forward. But there is something here around for many of you. This could also just be literally the realization of the legacy possibly you're already sitting on, a reconnection to that, but the realization too that when you release this part of yourself, well, again, whatever tied to this emotional disappointment and the kind of waiting to bring something in, the waiting to have your ships come in, the waiting for this foundation to manifest that really is not going to manifest, that is going to free you up to dedicate yourself to this new vision, this new legacy, this physical leveling up you want to experience. And you're going to understand the why behind it because you're going to love it. It's going to realize everything about what's in your Ace of Cups. It's going to fulfill your needs. And our needs are all different. This might be fulfilling your need for adventure, fulfilling your need for love, fulfilling your need for, challenging yourself on a mental space. Whatever it is in this cup, it's directly tying back to this, and it's going to allow you again to release a burden you've carried for a long time and a burden of possibly trying to make something work for a long time. And it's simply saying, let that go so that you can simply hold one wand and get up into the seat of authority here. Okay, so I'm going to pull 3 additional cards for the concept of curiosity, courage, and contemplation. This is additional advice from Spirit before we pull our final card to end the reading. Now we have the first card here is where Spirit would like you to be curious. Open yourself up to where you might possibly be blocking yourself from, oh, that's way too many cards. Sorry, guys. I did see the action card, so we'll see if that comes up again. But I think for many of you, it's going to allow you to really see where you're not allowing yourself to see this new perspective, to see the new version of yourself, to see the new version of your journey, and how, yes, it is possible to go back and try again with the 6 of Cups and the 3 of Coins. The 6 of Cups is where we actually go back and we get a gift from our past self on an emotional level. We remember something that we used to be emotionally connected to or that we used to love, and we bring that forward into our present day experience. Now, again, this could also be truly somebody coming back from the past wanting to build something with you. And, maybe this is saying, yeah, you might have the opportunity to do that. Or this could be, again, if you've been in a long-term relationship, this could be rekindling the flame, remembering it and saying, let's build this better and bigger together. But there is something around a second chance. That's really, the 6 of Cups can really speak to a second chance at doing something again. And with the 3 of Coins, it's definitely a second chance at building something you'd wanted before. Okay, so we have 3 cards. I guess I'll take them all. So we have the Thinking Woman, number 47, breaking down to the number 11 in numerology. I love that number. It's the number of the gateway between what is and what can be when we co-create with Spirit. We have Walking Away, number 27, breaking down to the number 9, the number of endings, where we get a chance to really, again, review. And Walking Away is beautiful to go with that because it's time to leave something behind and to learn the lessons and kind of bless that and go out into the, great unknown, into the new adventure. And then we had Yin and Yang, number 22, master number. It's the number of the master builder. And it's really emphasizing here the Temperance card, bringing the masculine and the feminine into balance, which I like. So for many of you, this can be, I'm going to pull some clarifier cards here to get some additional messages, but I think for many of you, this is where are you blocking yourself from the energy of having to walk away from something? Because you're either, with the Thinking Woman coming in, this can be where are you, where is your mental kind of negative programming, again, coming back here to the Devil and the 8 of Swords, where is your mental programming kind of trapping you from really being able to strategize, to see something clearly, to see where you need to walk away and where there needs to be the masculine and the feminine needs to be brought into balance? that maybe this is a divine partnership. Where is it time to walk away from a past hurt to bring in a divine partner who will balance your energy? Or where is it time to walk away from a job that is not allowing you maybe to, really harness both sides of your experience? Okay, so we have the Three of Cups again. Here it comes. This is, double, triple confirmation now. There's something here around a group of people perhaps you were tied to, camaraderie, that tribe. It can also be Three of Cups can indicate a drinking problem. It can indicate, kind of overindulgence with others. It can also indicate possibly a third party situation. So somebody cheating on somebody. Now, this is not a relationship reading in that way, but for some of you that this may be something coming in here. So this could be that maybe with the thinking woman, what's preventing you from kind of leveling up is because you are kind of focused on this, the Three of Cups. But whatever this represents, again, to you, this Three of Cups represents a disappointment. So whether that disappointment was in a friend group or not having a close friend group, this disappointment could be, again, in maybe something happened with a marriage that did involve a third party, or the disappointment was maybe there is a level of addiction or something along those lines of the devil coming in. And that now the thinking woman, there's a chance to review that, reflect on whatever that is. And then, yes, Page of Wands. How has that held you back from going out and just innocently and curiously expressing your passion? I really think, I think there's, for some of you, there's this realization that if you just go out there and start sharing your passions and what you're passionate about again, with the pages are always a childlike energy in my perspective. I think for many of you, maybe you've held yourself back for quite some time because of, again, a wounding that happened. You haven't been really sharing what you're passionate about. You haven't gone out there and really played with this part of yourself in a while. And it's because possibly you were hurt by a friend group, or because you were hurt. I mean, this doesn't have to be friends. This Three of Cups could be just anybody that you want to celebrate with. This could be family. This could be some of the people who are closest to you. But there's a chance now, I think, for many of you to go out there and to find a new community, to find a new tribe. But it's going to come from where you haven't allowed yourself to go out there and just play. Just play with your passions. What feels good? What's fun? How do you know how to balance your passions and your emotions if you're not actually going out there and taking action from that place? Walking away, Queen of Swords. Yeah. Queen of Swords, she knows what she's been through. She knows the truth of what she's capable of, and she knows the truth of her own story and is willing to allow others to have and share their own story and their perspective, but she has hers. And this is someone who is very clear on a mental space of where it's time to walk away from something and why, based on her previous experience. So where perhaps you kind of, where this can become a block is the Queen of Swords can also, in her kind of negative, shadowy energy, is when she becomes jaded. When she's looking at her story from a negative perspective of, well, every time I've been in a relationship, I've gotten hurt. So I should never be in a relationship again, or all relationships suck. This can be where she has been hurt in her work environments, and she says, well, I've been used in my work environments. I haven't been given enough money for the amount of time and effort I've put in. No one listened to my ideas, yada and so forth, fill in the blank. And instead of just saying, what I've learned about myself being in those experiences is that, yes, I am able to dedicate and work very hard, and I need to own my value. And so the lesson I've learned is that, yeah, I did work for many years for people who used me, but the realization is that I will never do that again. And that's what's made me realize where I need to walk away from now, or what I need to walk away from if it presents itself. And that's the gift of what I went through. Same thing with this relating to relationships. I realize now that maybe I put myself in a bad position with relationships, or maybe the person did use me or didn't love me for who I was. But now I know my true value, and I won't get into a relationship with someone like that. The next relationship I'll be in is one that values me. And so when she's in her highest power, she is clear on what she will no longer stand for based on the lessons she's learned in the past. She is confident in her own abilities and confident in her self-value and the value of her story as well, which is interesting. Here comes the Six of Cups with the yin and yang. Very interesting. So again, the Six of Cups is coming in here. That tie to the past, that balancing. So it may be that maybe this tie to the past, maybe a part of your energy, whether that's been out of balance, maybe the masculine or the feminine, is tied again to something that didn't work out for you from the past. This could be where you have, an issue around maternal or feminine energy because of something that happened to you with your parents as a child. Or this could be something where when you went out to be an adult, you felt you had to push on a masculine level, maybe in a work environment, or you had to fulfill that role in your relationship. And yet that's due to something that happened in the past. And when you reflect on the past version of yourself, you realize, but I was always a softer person. I've lost my tie to that feminine nurturing energy, or the reverse. I've lost my masculine pushing energy because I've gotten so used to being kind of in the back seat or allowing life to just kind of take me where it goes. And it's time for me now to balance kind of the receiving energy with the pushing energy, whatever it is, but it is something from the past. I think there's a past version of yourself in your experience on an emotional level that's going to show you when you connect with it where you need to bring a part of your experience into balance. I'm going to see if anything else wants to come out for that yin yang. It can also be balancing kind of over romanticizing the past. Yeah, letting something go. Over romanticizing the past with getting really clear about being present. And that can be also what you're bringing into balance. The importance of the present moment and what you do and the actions you take and where you invest your time, energy, and money versus living in the past version of yourself or living in the past version of when you felt like it was better. The world coming in says there's a hard stop on this. It's a hard stop. It's come to an end. A major life cycle has come to an end, and it was based around this past version, and it's time now to realize you can still bring that part of your experience forward, but it's going to be different this time. That part of yourself that you romanticize, it's time to kind of release that. This could even be where you're overly romanticizing a relationship, or overly romanticizing a past work environment, and now you realize, maybe it was great, maybe it wasn't, but there's going to be a change in perspective. It's going to allow you to say, that past version of myself or that past version I'm connected to, it's time to end that and bring it forward in a new way that is liberating to me, that is in alignment with who I am today. There's a strong tie to being present. I think for many of you, there is going to be the true gift this month is being very present and being very aware of your thoughts, where you're trapping yourself and where you're tied again to this kind of emotionally disappointing moment in your life and where you don't feel like you can really kind of do it again in that area. Let's see, what does Taurus need to know about where they need to be courageous? Now, I'm pulling a Power of Surrender card here. So this is really about being courageous in surrendering to something. And this is going to help you have the courage then to really act within your own best interest. Yeah, surrender resentments. Yep. Many of you, again, tied to something here. This could be where there's a resentment to, again, parents who got divorced and affected you. Resentment to a significant other that you felt didn't understand you or properly treat you right. Resentments to past work environments, managers, bosses, mentors, even teachers, some people who didn't see you for who you were, even close friend groups or family members. And it's time to release that. It says, holding on to resentments only poisons you. Try to forgive others for their shortcomings and keep moving forward towards positive situations in your life. I love that. Very freeing. It's a very freeing message. And I think, it's one where if you can have the courage to just say, it's what happened. The Six of Cups is also one where we make peace with the past. Where we get a chance to kind of look back on it and say, yeah, it is what it is what it is. And I'm going to pull what I can, the gift forward from what happened. I'm going to really understand the Queen of Wands here, understand the power of that story. And I'm going to take the time to walk away from that now, or to walk away from something in my current experience that is tied directly to this point in my life. I mean, for many of you, if this is business related, like you're looking to try your hand at a business or looking to try your hand at kind of leveling up in your career, this could be the moment to realize how much you've learned, how far you've come, that you're not just kind of the novice anymore, and to really own stepping up into that. Yeah, that's where Eight of Swords. So here's the Eight of Swords coming in again. The resentments are where you're being trapped. The resentments are, again, the person who told you weren't good enough in the past, the person who told you weren't good enough in a relationship because they didn't love you enough or they left you, the people who maybe didn't hear your ideas and didn't support them. And if you can just get past that mental chatter, that kind of negative entrapment, I think you'll realize how easy it will be to realize what you can make from trying again, from what you want to build. But building it from a place that is not attached to the past. This, for instance, I know it's going to sound kind of interesting, but I've noticed it a lot with people in my life, and including myself. I've had to battle with this too, where it's about getting very clear as to what you want to build for yourself and the why on an emotional level, how what you're doing, how your physical investment and physical, again, what you do in the day-to-day. Why do you do this versus that? That it will never be as successful as you want it to be, or feel as good and emotionally fulfilling as you want it to feel, if we're doing it in direct relationship to a resentment that we have with someone. This would be like saying, well, I'm going to build that business to spite the person who told me that I was not good enough to build this business, or I'm going to just sleep around with anybody because my ex told me that I wasn't good for anybody. And I'm going to show them that, I can, go out there and get as many people as I want, or whatever it is. It's instead of doing it for ourselves and saying, but this is what I love. This is what fills my cup. This is what I want to leave behind, my legacy. We tie ourselves to the burden of pushing ourselves to prove ourselves just to spite someone else. And that can become a really heavy and entrapping burden. That can be, again, that place of maybe you have a bad relationship with your mother or father, and you're like, well, instead of getting divorced, I'm going to stick it out because I'm going to show my parents that when you get divorced, or when you get married, it's a commitment, and it's a commitment for life. And I'm going to prove to everybody who's ever told me that I shouldn't have got married because it was going to end in divorce, I'm going to prove them wrong. And it's like, but unfortunately, that's not going to feel fulfilling because you're choosing something outside of yourself to try to validate the action you're taking. So this is bringing this back to yourself. What do you truly want? That's going to be the change in perspective. Do you really want to stay in a relationship that is not supportive of you? Do you really want to build a business that maybe is not what you want to build anymore and you're just still trying to prove someone wrong, or is, it's one of those things where it's about getting very clear as to your why, getting very clear as to why are you doing what you do, and what do you actually want to nurture? The Queen of Pentacles, what does she actually want to grow? What does she want to give birth to? And what she wants to give birth to is going to show you again where your legacy lies. What do you want this coin to grow into? Not what somebody else wants this coin to grow into, but what do you want it to grow into? Okay, so we've got a lot of cards here. We've got the Judgment. I knew Judgment was going to come in here. We have the Ten of Pentacles again. We have the Six of Swords. We have Temperance and the Three of Swords. Very interesting. So for some of you, the main change here is a change of moving on from something maybe you've worked towards for some time because you've changed. That's what Judgment says here. Judgment says you've changed. You had to go through something that was highly transformative for you. You can see, I mean, she literally, judgment means that she has gone through the death process and now is being called up as the new version of herself. But that meant that when she became the new version of herself, she had to leave behind something that she had worked towards. The Ten of Pentacles and the Six of Swords speaks to moving on from that. That this could be that you went through a period where suddenly, a relationship didn't work, or the career that you've been in for 20 years no longer fit who you were, or you had to walk away from where you built a legacy in a location. Maybe you lived in a place that you really became part of the community and you had to leave that. But Temperance comes in here. Here it is again, at the heart of your reading, the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords are the wounds from the past that just play over and over again in our head and then seep down and actually like pierce us on an emotional level. And this is saying it's time to temper these parts of ourselves, temper the version of yourself that had to change with the version of, with the wounds that you had to go through, with the heartache. And if you can bring those two into alignment, that's where you're going to have the most clarity now as to where you had to walk away from something, but now what you have the chance to build. But you have to be very clear as to these thoughts, where they come from, who they're directly tied to. And it's not about, not looking at them. It's about owning them and realizing that the Queen of Swords knows that they're part of her story. But it's what makes her stronger. And the beauty of this Temperance coming in is saying it was all part of a divine plan. Yes, in order for you to transform, you had to leave something big behind. And yes, there are wounds associated with that. But these two together, you temper them into something new. You temper them into what you want to build now. What hurt you but didn't kill you. These are the painful moments, but they didn't stop you from continuing on. And is what you left behind, did that really, where are you today versus what you left behind? And that's what you have to realize, is that sometimes we have to go through heartache to be able to gain more for ourselves. And I think, again, it's time for us it's almost like whatever was tied to what you were forced to walk away from, and that's heartache. It's saying surrender your attachment to that, because you've come that's actually what liberated you. That's the liberation. That's the freedom through change. So have the courage to release that and realize that that was actually probably the best thing that happened to you, even though it's hard to see it from that perspective. But that's the change in perspective that will change everything for you this month and for you moving forward. Okay, so now I'm going to pull a final card here before the final card. So this is going to be the card of where Spirit would like you to remain contemplative of, to really bring to a place of reflection throughout the month to ground the energy of this reading into your everyday experience. So let's see, what does Taurus need to know about where they need to stay reflective? And this is a great point to bring into moments of contemplation. So if you have a dedicated meditation, what do you call it? Routine. In Taurus, I am a Taurus sun sign, so I know about routines. We thrive on routines. So for many of you, this might be building the message of this into a routine to kind of really allow Spirit to come in and help you with this change in perspective, to help illuminate for you what this is all speaking to. So we have trust the niggle. It says, what is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? So this all goes back to the moon card. Your intuition, trusting your intuition. What do you need? What do you know you need to walk away from at this time? And where have you been pushing yourself, I think, to continue moving forward on it because of what's happened in the past? And where can you maybe start to focus your energy in a different place, but that's more in alignment with you, more in alignment with your cup, and it's going to get you closer to the feelings of emotional fulfillment that come when we work with our passions. So let me pull a few extra clarifiers for that. So I'm going to go ahead here. We're going to see what else wants to come out with that. And then we'll move into the final card. So what else does Taurus need to know about trust the niggle? Nine of Pentacles. Okay, yeah, independence. Where are you currently? Where have you leveled up in your life currently and have a lot of just physical comfort? This is saying enjoy that. Enjoy the physical comfort. Oh, and I love that Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups is also a divine feminine archetype. It is unconditional love. It's nurturing. It also harnesses the energy of Cancer again. So we have a strong, again, Cancer energy to your reading. So, you know, it might be very good for you either to watch the Cancer video that I filmed. It's actually up on the site. But it also might be interesting to see where you might have Cancer in your birth chart, and it might be illuminating as to the house that it's in and, you know, what it's affecting and tied to in other areas of your chart. But Queen of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, this is saying, what are you being called to love? What are you being called to unconditionally love and nurture? And also with the Nine of Pentacles, what do you have in abundance that you can enjoy, that you can share with others, that it's time to, I think, lean into the abundance that you have and really get into this place of the feminine. I think for a lot of you, the yin and yang, there might be a need to balance the masculine, to balance the feminine with the masculine, to bring in more feminine into your experience versus the masculine. I'm just seeing that. And what's ironic with that is that in doing so, it's going to, I think, bring you into this masculine energy in a healthy way. Is I think for many of you, you have been kind of maybe stuck in a kind of pushing energy or in a masculine energy, taking on a masculine role, maybe. And it's time now to get back in touch with, again, your cup. The Queen of Cups holds her cup sacred. She has deep respect for her needs, deep respect for when her intuition calls, she follows it. Deep respect for her emotions. And she takes action from that place. And I do like that it's almost the same image here. This individual has her eyes closed. This individual has her eyes closed. They're both listening. So there's a deep tie in here of listening, hearing the call. What is the niggling feeling telling you? What is a level of independence that right now you could tap into, and possibly something that's telling you right now, the niggling feeling, well, what is it? Where have you leveled up in your life that you maybe haven't seen or haven't appreciated? Because that really is what the Nine of Pentacles speaks to, appreciating the abundance that you have, appreciating the physical freedom that you created for yourself. But maybe also, I like how I'm noticing here, she's plucking a coin with what looks to be a bird attached, maybe like a hawk or a falcon. And it's the coin that she wants to nurture, which comes up over here, the Queen of Pentacles. And it's almost like looking at all that you have and picking that one thing. And then this time, really investing and loving it into existence from a place that is not tied to resentment, tied to proving someone wrong, tied to whatever it is that directly connects you to like outside validation, but instead now is tied to you, what you love, what you're intuitively called to, trusting the niggling feeling. Where are you being called to start to invest, and how can you see it from a new light? How can you see how this part can be taken to become your next legacy? Really, really interesting and empowering reading, Taurus. Okay, let's get a final card here. So we're going to take a look at the overarching spiritual lesson you are learning about yourself. What does Taurus need to know about the overarching spiritual lesson? And I'm going to read the full excerpt that comes with this book so that you'll get a final message here that does not come directly from myself, but hopefully which will highlight and punctuate this reading for you. I'm hearing right now as I'm shuffling release. It's just time to release, Taurus. And it's time to release this burden, whatever's tied to the 10 of Wands there. I swear I saw a card flip over. Maybe it went back in. I guess it did. Okay, well, we'll see what wants to come out for you here. But yeah, just release. It's almost like taking just a deep breath, and all those things, all those wounds from the past, all the things that didn't work out, or you not being able to be seen the way that you wanted to, you get a chance to let them go. And you get a chance to work. I think you're a lot closer than you think. That's the interesting thing. I think you're a lot closer than you think to bringing in this 10 of Pentacles for yourself. Okay. So let me see. Let me get the book here. So we have two. We have number 26, Key of Light, and we have number 34, Hold Your Center. Love this. Okay, number 26. We have, so it says, Archangel Michael loves you unconditionally and serves your soul journey. He brings you a spiritual gift now, the key of light. This key allows you to open any door, clear away any obstruction, and free yourself from any prison or enslavement, physical, emotional, or psychological. There is no need for you to feel trapped or locked out of a situation you want to get into. Oh, I love this. Beautiful. You now hold within your hands a divine key that will assist you in many ways. Archangel Michael has a message for you. You have the power of the divine in you. You have the ability to free yourself no matter whether it seems that another person, a set of circumstances, or the entire world holds more power than you. Your power of freedom is unconditional. It doesn't require that outer circumstances change in order for you to be free. Though as you choose freedom, outer circumstances often change radically. For now, to be free, use the key of light. This means staying true to what you know for yourself. Gently and lovingly assert your truth now. Do not cave in to naysayers and fear generators. Most especially, do not collapse under your old fears or doubts. Gently and persistently cleaving to the light within will bring you through any apparent obstacle, free you from any apparent prison, and ensure your divine destiny is fulfilled. All doors shall be opened to you. You are being given a gift of unconditional grace. Step back and radiate love from your center. That is your way. And I love that the next card here is Hold Your Center. You do not have to betray your spirituality to fight. You can fight with love and trust you can fight with love and trust, and that can be your way as a spiritual warrior. In each moment you choose love and trust, you are fighting the good fight. You are learning that love is expressed in no as much as in yes. For when you fight against those who want you to deny the truth, you are standing clear and strong in loving truth. Michael helps you realize the strength that you already have within you to do this. This oracle is a message for you to trust in your own ability to triumph right now. You are the key to success. You must believe in yourself. You don't have to force a door to open. In perfect time, according to divine grace, all doors will open for you. Your dreams and actions will prove themselves in time. No person, place, or thing has any power to hold you back. The key of light is spiritual permission from the universe to succeed in your life mission. You shall not be kept back from your divine destiny. You shall be empowered to succeed. Refuse to give up on your dreams. This may mean freeing yourself from situations or relationships that have enslaved or controlled you. When you are ready, this can be done with great gentleness, compassion, and strength. Free yourself with love, not fear. You may need to lock doors to the past behind you. With divine empowerment, you can completely and utterly allow the past to be over. You will find that new doors can then be unlocked for you. Absolutely love this message. Okay, number 34. We have Hold Your Center. It says, how have you been rushing out to meet others, trying to bend or accommodate their needs at the expense of your own well-being and inner peace? Now you are to strengthen your own energy, your own boundaries, to find your ground. Firmly place your feet there and do not move. Feel your feet anchoring you like a beautiful tree. Let yourself experience quiet certainty as you hold your center with commitment, courage, and consciousness. You are learning to trust in your own instincts, to take your own journey without comparison to the life path of another. There is no need to become disheartened or distracted by comparisons or judgments. The earth needs your light, which can only come from you. You will offer so much less if you try to make it match your beauty to what you perceive to be the beauty of another. Many souls who are different and unique were not understood, acknowledged, and valued for whom they were as children. Instead, they were encouraged to conform, to change, to be other than their true self in order to be loved. This can be a hard pattern to break, yet the time is here for you to love and honor yourself as yourself. You are beautiful. You do not need to change for another. You certainly do not need to change for the divine. You are being encouraged instead to distill your essence to become even more of you. Hold your center now and do not be rattled by any other through intimidation, confrontation, doubt, jealousy, or fear. To hold your center means you accept your innate value and worth, your right to exist and thrive, and accept the love that created you as you in order to fulfill your divine destiny. This oracle brings you confirmation. You are on the right path. You do not need to collapse into fear or doubt to ease old guilt or make others more comfortable. It is not selfish or hard of you to be strong. You can hold yourself in high esteem and be gentle and loving to others, whilst absolutely refusing to accept any behavior, belief, or attitude of another that would tear you down or cast you into doubt or self-hatred. As part of your spiritual training, your soul learned to be open, to receive guidance and channel healing. This is what you needed to be able to do to function as a healer, channel, and light worker. You had to be sensitive, receptive, and open. Now is the time to balance that with resilience, strength, and even some divine stubbornness, which we all know as Taurus we are all good at. Refusing to give up on who you are while remaining open to guidance is the balance of loving wisdom necessary to grow yourself as a divinely unique individual in a world that often fears true individuality, simply because it cannot be easily controlled. Holding your center doesn't mean that you no longer surrender. Instead, you consciously choose to surrender into divine love and grow more empowered. You are here to shine a light, to be the lighthouse for others. That lighthouse doesn't ask for permission to shine. It stands still, shines faithfully, and those who need it are guided by its light to safety. Do not lose faith in yourself, beloved soul. You know who you are. Be strong. Honor your inner beauty and your personal boundaries. You need to feel safe in your ability to say no as much as you need to know that you will say yes when your heart guides you to do so. Be true to you. And that is where you get to step up into this empowered version of yourself. Highly empowering reading this month, Taurus. I really hope all of you take this to heart. You take a look at the wounds of the past, you prepare yourself to release them, and get ready to take action on behalf of you, on behalf of who you are, and to honor the beauty that lies with who you are uniquely. And trust your intuition that where you're being guided and what you maybe perhaps can't let go of, because this could be that thing where you tell yourself on some level you don't want to get into a relationship again because all relationships are bad, but on that intuitive level, you keep wanting that relationship. It's time to lean into that. Same thing with a business path, or same thing with something tied to any other aspect of your life. It's saying it can be yours, Taurus, but it's time to release that negative thought pattern that says you're not good enough or that you have to prove something to others. The only person you have to prove anything to is yourself. Are you going to live as you and the empowered version of you who gets to reap the benefits of that? Or are you going to allow the wounds of the past and others to hold you back from that experience? All right, I will leave you all with that. If you'd like to book your own personal reading to get a chance to see what's coming up ahead for you, or just to take a look at possibly a question that you need assistance and guidance around, you can click on the link in my description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will see you all in February for your next Illumination reading. Bye, Taurus.